Hopefully this one doesn't get taken down. So to avoid any trouble, let's do the American version. Yeah, I'm getting that right out in the open now. This version is shit compared to the original. I know some people get annoyed with saying, oh, the original Japanese version is so much better. Sometimes I don't agree with that, but in this situation, the Americanized one absolutely sucks. Varan is one of the most underrated monsters in the Toho universe next to Baragon, which is as both monsters kick ass. We'll see Baragon later. Varan is actually older than Mothra. The original Japanese version came out in 1958. The American was released in 1962. Much like Godzilla, it was edited and dubbed using American actors. And yeah, this was kind of a mess. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, the story is pretty different from the original. Like I said in the beginning, we're going to focus on the 1962 American version that was released and recut and directed by Jerry Barowitz. One of the reasons I'm doing the American version too is hoping a certain company doesn't tell us to take this down like my original Godzilla review. Okay, so here we go. We start with stock footage from Godzilla, showing Godzilla. That's Godzilla's foot. So we really actually get no backstory on what's going on, just the title.
The island of Kunashirashima, bleak, rugged, and lonely. More than half jungle. With the exception of one modern city, Onita, the populace is limited to a few small fishing villages.
Ah, okay. Now we seem to understand what's going on. It's a remote area that is just the right spot for military testing. And this man is leading those tests, Commander James Bradley, and his wife, Anna, played by, get ready for a name butchering here, and I apologize ahead of time, Tsurako Kobayashi. Yeah, I butchered another name. Moving on. His mission is that he wants to run tests and see if he can convert salt water into fresh water.
Matsu.
Oh yeah, and this kid is Matsui, played by Derek Shimatsu. He really has no part in this movie except he just cleans up around the house. Unfortunately for James, the villagers don't want them around, and they would really like them to relocate to a different lake because their god is sleeping in the wake, and they really don't want him to piss it off. Another guy who is working on the project, who is actually in charge of moving the locals, is Captain Kashi, played by Clifford Kawada. He tells the commander of the legend of the lake that a giant monster is sleeping at the bottom of the lake, and their experiments are probably going to piss it off and wake it up. But there's nothing in the lake, right? But of course there's a monster in the lake, otherwise why would we be here? The American-made cut-in scenes here are terrible and make zero sense. Literally, who did this? Another problem is the cutting into the American scenes. The audio drops out, which is really annoying from time to time. So Varan wakes up and goes on a rampage. He destroys the village around the lake, and then heads for open ocean. That has got to be a very, very scary feeling to be out in the ocean and a giant you didn't know that existed was swimming towards you. The army jets attack and don't do too much to slow the monster down. The mix of stock footage works pretty good here, though. So Bradley comes up with the idea to fill a warhead with the same solution that he was using in the lake that pissed off Varan. First, they try it out from a helicopter, to which he eats it. So when that doesn't work, they try a more direct approach by driving a truck full of the stuff right into the monster. Fun fact, Haro Nakajima, who played Godzilla, also played Varan, and almost got his balls blown off with this scene. Okay, yeah, maybe getting your balls blown off isn't exactly a fun fact after all. After that, Varan heads back to his home lake. The end. No, literally. Besides some bad, lame dialogue between Anna and Bradley about moving to California, that's it. Kinda wish they explained a little more of this statue they kept showing in the American version, though. Varan is a pretty terrifying and cool-looking monster. Really wish they used him more in movies and not reduce him to a puppet and destroy all monsters. Unlike Godzilla, with the Raymond Burns scenes where they actually reshot with actual Japanese actors so it almost looked like it could have been in the original movie, you just have Bradley and Anna off to the side and they really don't do anything. In fact, they don't even do a good job of blending it with the original story. They just made a whole new one for this one. They even reused some scenes from Godzilla 2 here and there for stock footage. The movie does get better once Varan shows up and heads towards the mainland. I kind of wish they explained a little more of why he went that direction, but okay. You do get a ton of monster action, which looks pretty good. Do I hate this movie? I don't know. Not really, but again, I will say the original is a lot better. The monster effects do look spooky and the story isn't too bad. Maybe if this was its own movie and not called Varan, and a whole new monster was made with this story, it would have been a lot better. I definitely recommend the original Japanese version. Maybe we'll do that one sometime. And come to think of it, what the f*** happened to that kid in the beginning?
Scare you good and plenty, like American Halloween.